tell my friends stand by me only if I'm right. I come out in triple darkness just to see the light. If I say it once, I guarantee I say it twice. If they want me, I ain't going out without a fight. In my dreams, I'm a killer, but for God, man. Try to play it cool, but it's getting hard, man. Rolling with the real and death to all the frauds, man. Not too many on me, yeah, it's kinda hard, man. In my room, sitting in my room. Know they waiting on me and I'm coming soon. Never been a sellout, never been a coon. Y'all be on the camera acting, I'ma show them how I true it.
That guy, instead of trying to walk around being macho and the man this and that, like, what works? You know, let's figure out what works. But we so busy trying to play these roles, and I think it's just some BS. You know what I mean? Like, everybody.
Welcome to the B2M Crew podcast with five brothers who have been lifelong friends, who between us have a combined 13 children, including 12 sons, been friends for over 40 years, and we get together to talk about parenting, our conversations that we've had with one another as brothers for over the 40-year friendship, and just give you a little insight into how we support one another through this journey called parenting, fatherhood, and not telling you how to do it, but sharing with you how we do it. So
Yes.
I'm your boy Nuevo Black. I'm joined to my right by John J.G. Yates.
What up, though?
My man over there, Chill Talik Win.
What's up?
Waukee, the world's ambassador, and brother Muhammad J. Moore. What's going on, fellas?
Peace.
What's up, man? Let's rock.
Everything good?
We solid.
We're coming to you today from the Code Building in Charlottesville, Virginia. What was
Center
your-
of developing entrepreneurs.
Center of
Code.
Developing Entrepreneurs, downtown Charlottesville on the mall. Wonderful event and business space for you to come check out. So glad to be broadcasting from here, fellas. Been a minute since we've been back here recording. We did some shows down in Atlanta at the new Win Production Studio.
Nice.
Shout out
nice.
to Win Productions for a great grand
Congratulations.
opening and all of that
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. That's dope.
Appreciate
get it.
that.
Topic today, man, is one that's interesting because all of us work hard, and we also all like to play hard too, right? But the balance between work and life when it comes to parenting, dividing that invaluable time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, man, when you look at, you hear a lot of children. I heard this one little story I read that this little boy kept asking his father for $100. I'm messing the story up, but it's going to be almost as
As long as they make the point,
it's
we
going to be
good.
almost as good. He's asking his father for $100. Just say if it's $100. And the father says, why do you keep asking me $100 for $100? Just you can buy what you need with 20. He said, because if I get $100, then I could pay for you not to go to work today.
Oh, dang.
Because I think he might have asked how much you make in a day, something like
Right.
that. But the point is, from the child perspective, nothing is more important than me spending time with you. So how, as parents that's out there trying to get it, trying to be entrepreneurs, how do we navigate it? What's your experience been with this work-life balance, man, when it comes to being a parent? Anyone?
Chill, you go first.
I go. This is definitely an interesting topic. I've had this experience in my personal journey, being an entrepreneur. A lot of times what happens is you lock in and you feel like you the breadwinner since you coming from, let's just say a man's point of view. And just you the breadwinner and you going to get that bag, so to speak. And what happens is you're chasing that dollar, and there's some things in the household that need to be addressed, and you oblivious to it because you really not sure what's going on. Because look, I gotta make the money to do this, and keep in mind my wife work as well. But at the same time, being an entrepreneur, like, we have to be at a certain status of if I don't go out and do it, the money ain't coming in, because I don't have that business that, I got 20 people working for me, so to speak, and the money coming even if I don't go to work, right? So at the same time, what happened was I was talking to this gentleman, and he shared with me. He said, son, you, because I was going to get some. I said this in another episode, but I was going to get some business cards and stuff done, and I was getting some other stuff. And he said, man, you got a lot of different businesses, and I was like, yeah. I was like, man, hey, if I need different sources of income, and they said something about 7 different streams, and so that's what I was doing because I thought that was what I was hearing. But come to find out, he said, son, let me tell you something. You mind if I share a few things with you? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. He was like, I built a I built $1 million business, and I didn't give proper time at home. He said, son, and if I were you, I would learn now, because at the end of the day, it ain't even about the money to your family if you ain't there. And man, that really, really hit. That really stung. But instead of having an ego or a chip on my shoulder, I went home to address these things, I said, baby, is it anything that I could do, or to just, I talked to this guy and I shared the story with her. She was like, yeah, you can do this. I said, I was floored,
Plenty for you to do.
But back to what he said, though, I get it, and I'm with you. But how do you do that? Did you question that yourself, knowing how hard it takes to hustle and grind? It sounds easy to say, hey, look, man, you might as well start right now, man. Just hustle half of what you're doing, or take it easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it take effort,
right,
to get to where you
to
trying
get
to
from
get.
here to there.
Yeah. So let me. So I mean, literally, I said I went right home and did it. But I spent a little time with myself. And on my way home, I was thinking about and so what I did, I picked up the phone. I was like, yo, bruh, call my brother. I was like, yo, man, this guy shared some stuff with me, man. And man, it hit hard, and how the hell I supposed to make this happen? And we shared some things. He said, man, look, this is what he's saying. And he started explaining. He said, when you at home, right? He said your wife might be watching her favorite show. Your son, daughter, etc. might be, in my case, my son, he said your son might be on social media doing this thing. And you might be fooling around in the garage doing something. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, what's wrong with that, right? And he say, what he's saying is, get engaged with the family. We get it. I'm always at home, but what we was getting twisted was, you're there, but you're not engaging. And I was like, I got it. So then I went home. I was like, yo, we having Monopoly tonight. Everybody come around, man.
Real quick. How long ago was this? Just curious.
I would say maybe 12 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
And it literally was not that my wife and I was at each other, but it was a major game change in the family, and it helped me be mindful and conscious of the moves I made. Mm-hmm. And when you conscious and you really understand it, then now you can put the balance in. And I'm that guy, instead of trying to walk around being macho and the man this and that, like, what works? Let's figure out what works. But we so busy trying to play these roles, and I think it's just some BS. You know what I mean? Like, so everybody household is
playing the roles.
Yeah, what role?
I'm just saying, based on however you grew up, you want to play these certain roles. Man, do this, man, do that. But at the same time, things is different now. Let's figure out what worked at our house.
Right. So if it works for you to cook, you'll cook.
Right.
See, I knew that's where it was going. Him and Joaquin go justify why they do all the talking. I already knew it. They were setting it up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
So instead of bucking or whatever, let's just figure out what works. That's all. I mean,
Now,
go
again,
ahead.
I'm sorry. So since you have the nice home, since you have the nice car, since you established now, right? Isn't that a lot easier to do versus when you
That's not true.
literally valeting?
No,
You know, when we had those menial jobs.
That's kind of why I asked that. I was like, well,
yeah.
for one, the reason I asked how long ago it was is because now today, what I mean, it's a lot different where families are just as equally or almost as disengaged because of the phones and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? The phone and whatever else. And so I was like, oh damn, they weren't engaged even 12 years ago. Before it was really popular with basically people being all into social media, the phone, the tablet, and all this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So that I found that to be interesting.
So you're
Then I
saying
also
being
put
there
that-
but not being there, being
Right.
there disengaged. is what
right.
you're
So I was
saying.
like, damn, if that was happening 12 years ago, I was like, imagine now. Although
Right.
of course for you and your family now, Tyreek's mid
Bro, we had
20s.
phones 12 years ago. Bro.
I know, but not at the point. You know what I'm saying? Not on the level.
It wasn't
or the
TikTok
use
and
of them.
IG and
Yeah.
Facebook and all that.
And it being as
We had
great a
phones,
distraction
but-
as it is now.
Y'all wasn't
then.
using it. That's what it is.
But at the
No, I'm
same
just-
no, but at the same time, like
What's that, like 2012?
listen to
2011?
listen to what
Yeah.
John's saying. You
Right.
know, I wasn't established 12 years ago. I started my business 14 years ago.
Right.
That
right.
ain't established.
Right.
But at the same time, what you gotta understand is so many people work a 9 to 5, right? So when you get home, it don't matter if I'm an entrepreneur. When you get home, what do you do when you get home? Separate. Do your own thing. You feel like, cause you know what, she tripping cause I went to the bar after work. I mean, I'm just saying, just speaking in
For
general.
somebody else, right?
And then you like, I'm here now. What you want me to do? I'm at the house. Well, ain't nobody doing nothing. Ain't nobody engaging. Ain't nobody talking. And so let's rally around this. Let's have some conversation.
And to make a long story short, you saying in response to the whole work-life balance, take advantage of the time that you do have at home and maximize it.
Yeah.
That's one way to I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that.
And
Because we do go off into our own little separate little worlds when you get home, and that could be for hours.
and so you
Or in
can,
the same room on the phone.
and I ain't saying as soon as you come through the door, like say you come in at 7, you eat. I mean, you come in at 5, you eat, and then you know what I'm saying? Like 6:30 or whatever. Hey, let's play some cards. Let's do something.
My bad. I
Let's
cut
play
you off.
some
You said
music. Let's
Monopoly
dance in
was
the
your
house.
thing, right? Early.
Yeah.
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 Let's play some music. Let's dance. Let's play a silly game. Like, it ain't gotta be long. All right, next. Boom.
Is there a converse to that though, Joaquin, in terms of and I don't think anybody can disagree with that, but is there like an inflection point where, at a certain point in your career, you're better able to do that than you are later on? Or is that a real thing in terms of the hustle? Because sometimes I know it's been times where I said, you know what? I need to be at home right now, but I can't. I can't do it right now.
Right. No, I think a lot of times we there's a couple of things we must learn. One, to maintain our energy levels so that when we do get home, we're not exhausted. We just want to kick back in the recliner, put our feet up and do nothing. So energy levels is very important. The other thing that I would try to share with my family is there's a difference between flexibility and availability. Sometimes because you're so flexible, people can have a tendency to think that you're always available and they can pull on your time tremendously.
That's good.
And so we got to make the distinction between, hey, grandma, I'm very flexible. I can come anytime, we can work around it, but I'm not always available, So I think we've all been at different stages in our careers when it comes to this. I remember one time when I was working a lot, we had a newspaper, we had a production company, I had a bunch of stuff going on. Just got my real estate license, all of this stuff. And I remember one time Darius and I were outside in the driveway playing basketball. And I threw him the balls like check ball. And as we were checking the ball, my phone rang in my pocket. And I was like, and I went to reach for it. And when I looked up at him, he was like, you better not answer that.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I knew he's sick of me being on the phone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He fed up with that. So I'm glad I picked up on that cue. Fast forward, I started trying to wind some things down. We got rid of the newspaper, production company, all of this stuff. And I concentrated on real estate. All right. Because I'm like, all right, I'm going to do real estate because now this is the thing that allows me to be available all the time. You know, I can take them to school. I can pick them up from school. I can coach Pop Warner. I can coach AAU basketball. I can do all of these things now. Well, guess what? After a few years of doing that, where he's seeing me every single day, all the time, every time he's available, I'm available. One day we sitting on the floor doing something, and he looked at me and was like, you don't do nothing. You don't do nothing. I'm like, what? I realized I swung the pendulum all the way left.
I'm about to say,
You know, all the way
went
right.
From one imbalance to another.
And now, and now I'm like, oh,
seemingly. Anyway.
I got to let him see me take some phone calls now. You know, a few years later, he like, Dad, don't do nothing. You always here. I see you in the morning. I see you in the afternoon. You at practice. Now he like,
But
I don't
did you do
nothing.
all of that? Did you do all of that for the family, for the kids?
It was 100% for the family, and I feel
so why do we as black men though? Why do we feel like we gotta go? Like when you look at other cultures, right? Even other races of people, like or watch TV how they socializes, right? I'm gone for 6 days. I'll be back next week, Martha. I'm on a trip. Kiss your wife. Bye. Let me talk to him. How's it going? Like, and even in our world today, some people live like that. Like,
absolutely,
they might not see their family but 1 weekend a month.
Absolutely.
Why do we? Is it because we grew up in families where either we were without our father, y'all lost your father, that we back to that overcompensating, or did we think that's the best way to parent?
Okay, I'll tell you. After years of coaching and being around kids and counseling and all those conversations, I come to the realization early on that kids don't care nothing about no football cleats, no jerseys, no Jordans, no nothing. Ultimately, only thing kids want is your time. That's all they want. Wow. And the reason we up here doing this podcast right now about parenting, because our kids have turned out well, is because we have put in that time. We put in that time and we were there every step of the way. So anytime they were about to go left, we were able to correct and be like, hey, let's get back over here now. That's what we did. Mm-hmm. We put in that time. So I tell anybody, if you want to know what's going on with your kids, you want to know what's happening, make time for them. Make time for them. Now, I feel like financially, I made a lot of sacrifices by doing that because I feel like I could have a whole lot more money. But ultimately, we all know that ain't what's important.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not what's truly important. Now, obviously, money ruled this world. And as it say in the Bible, the rich will rule over the poor. That's a real thing. So we need money for this world. But at the same time, we also understand relationships are the most important thing. And the relationships that we have with our sons, there ain't no price of,
John,
there's no money that can take that away.
Was that important to you to constantly be like, man, on this work-life balance question, I'm gonna be on the side of spending more time with them than I ever can because I don't want them to feel that they lacking anything, my presence.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially not having a father who grew up in a household with you. So I knew I was going to spend time. That was non-negotiable. But I think Bobby Womack.
We call Bobby Brown now?
Bobby Womack.
I thought every little stuff I take,
Hey, your girlfriend complains about all things that a girlfriend got and what you ain't got. But he can't be at two places at one time, And so when you come
why don't you do it like you go to the same?
I will. I have to get a few drinks and I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it right.
You ain't got the boyfriend got, girlfriend got.
But baby, what? No, I can't be at two places at one time.
Think you're lonely now. Wait until tonight. Girl.
There
That's
you
what
go.
That's what you talking about, brother.
Exactly,
Is that what you
exactly.
said to one of your boys?
Hey.
Y'all ain't bad. I'm gonna go on a happy hour.
Hey,
You think you lonely now? Wait till the night, cause I'm about to tie one on tonight.
Hey, now, because I think when you come from a lower socioeconomic place, right, and you mentioned your question earlier was regarding like Western civilization, right? Because now, back in the days, a man could work a blue collar job and the wife stay home and take care of the kids. Today is set up where both parents got to work. It's very difficult to not to be able to do that, right?
Real
And
facts.
sometimes there's got to be a sacrifice. And so when you're struggling and trying to move up the economic ladder, right, sometimes you got to work 60, 70 hours a week, right? And at what cost is that? You know, then once you reach a certain level, then you want to spend that time. And sometimes you got to keep it up to maintain it. So it's a hell of a balance. And literally last year, and I'm still dealing with it myself.
I was about to say.
I'm dealing with it 1,000%, right? And working on it. And last year, my ex-wife said something, and I said, "Well, he ain't say nothing to me about it." You know, talking about Gabriel. And he said that Dad too stressed out about work, so I ain't want to ask him.
Mhm.
That joint hit me
Damn.
hard. Yeah, it hit
Man.
me hard. Yeah.
Wow.
And so now, so I had to balance that out, right?
Right.
But you still got to work. You still got to grind. You still got to pay the bills. You still got to make money. I'm going to have 2 kids in college for a semester.
So where do
know.
you think
That's
he
a
saw-
whole
where-
nother dynamic, though. It's
Yeah.
like he's like, I see you're not accessible because
You're not
I don't want to
emotionally
bother you
available.
with what I need because I see that's affecting you.
I was about
That's
to say,
heavy.
where is it and how did he see that? Or when, you know what I mean? When or can you point back to a time that you realized, damn, when or you know, or did you ask yourself when did he see this?
I mean, it's fairly
To
obvious.
kinda
I
be
have,
pick
I have
up
a
on that.
job where I can work from home
Uh-huh.
and remote. I mean, work from home and in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees me at home. And so he sees me shut the computer down at 5, and then he sees me on the computer till 10 o'clock at night. You know, so he sees that. He hears some of my conversations.
I was
that
about to
have-
say,
Yeah.
okay, seeing that you're doing it, but did he see you in stressful, tense moments or something? Or something?
Probably just
Oh.
like they see us with their mom, with any relationship.
They watching
it.
way more
They
than we think
watching.
they watching.
More
anyway.
things are caught than taught.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so for example, where I live in Northern Virginia, right? My job is 15 minutes from me. But if I had to be there at 8 in the morning, it was a 55-minute drive. That's just how the traffic is.
Right.
And so I'd be like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm gonna work from home. But then sometimes I would go to the job. I'd rather sit in that 55-minute traffic so I can decompress.
Yeah.
And I won't go back up there and reopen the computer and continue to work, you know?
Right.
But it's still an ongoing issue for me having that balance to this day.
So a
But-
super tip is managing your stress
Yes. yes.
because you can be at home, but if you're not managing your stress properly, then you're not emotionally available to the kids in the house.
Exactly.
Then you become like what was it? 7 guitars. Is that
August Wilson play?
which one did he do when he told
Yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah.
I ain't gotta like you.
Yeah.
Defenses.
Fences.
The fences.
You got a
The
roof
fences.
over your
Yeah,
head?
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you expect from me?
Yeah.
Expect me
Yeah.
to be human to you? You know?
Yeah.
But man, I gotta when I sit back and think about that, I think I did a good job spending a lot of time. 'Cause like y'all, first of all, we like sports, so we wanted to be there at practice, all of those things, right? But
Y'all
it
do.
was a period. Yeah, right. It was a period,
Not all of us.
man, when I was a principal, when the job was so stressful, I know I wasn't available when I got home. I was drained, like emotionally.
Right.
I
right.
know I was not available. And still to this day, I say, had it not been for the fact of the inputs my wife and I put in our children before that to help us get through it, I don't know what would have happened to them because they was already good. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Like my absence wasn't gonna be, and it was a time when Amir was just entering. He started when he went into high school. I became a high school principal.
Okay.
So you can imagine, man, it's like trying to keep up with the athletics on that part, but coming home, and I'm coming from a school where, oh man, dude had a gun today. Oh man, somebody aunt got shot. We gotta take some food over there. Oh man, they got assaulted. Oh man, it's about to be a gang fight. I mean, like every day, you know what I'm saying? And then dealing with the adults. It was days like the 45-minute ride home was everything I needed.
Yeah.
Right.
I was
right,
like,
right.
bet. like by the time I got home, I could just be like totally decompressed, right? But I knew I was not. If they had needed me emotionally during that time, or when they did, I just wasn't. I ain't have a lot, man. But they was good. They were good kids, so I didn't have a lot to worry about. Like I didn't have to worry about running up to the school to get them
Right.
out of a situation that they didn't do their homework. But I literally knew I wasn't available, and there was nothing I could do about it. That's how I felt during that time.
How long did that last?
Probably, I didn't realize, man. It's I'm gonna say 4 or 5 years. Let me tell you why.
Wow.
Because when near the end of my tenure, I went in. School was about to open. It was summer. School was about to open, and it's the first day the whole staff comes back. And I had to make my little rally speech at the beginning of the year. You know, get everybody galvanized. And somebody got me and said, "Hey man, A-Rod got shot last night. The student at the school." I said, "You all right?" Nah, he dead, man. He died. Right? This was a student that we was heavily invested with getting him to turn the corner. He was a member of a popular go-go band at the time up there, but had totally turned the corner, but was literally on his own at 17. You understand what I'm saying? Taking care of himself pretty much. And his turning the corner, I was so invested in it, it crushed me.
Yeah.
Crush you anyway when a child
Right.
died,
Right.
It just crushed me.
You got so much into it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I just like, and my kids, they will tell you, man, that when I got home, I was still emotional. Like I was crying at home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they saw that. You know what I mean? But not too long after that, it was an organizational change. They wanted to part ways with me, and I said all that to say, because after that happened, when I left and we had a little separation agreement, that was when I realized how unavailable emotionally I had been.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I had a weight of because I was separated from the organization.
Yeah.
I was like doing stuff I hadn't done in years,
Blessing in
bro.
disguise.
I mean, like, you know how my yard is, man. I like if I do leaves in my yard, it's like 40 bags, right?
Right.
I did all of it by myself. I hadn't done it in like 10 years. I was just at home. I'm gonna do these. Like, I just had energy. I was like, you know, asking questions around the house, and they'd be like, "Oh no, that happened 2 years." Like, time had passed me by, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because of the stress, and I just wasn't paying attention to it. But thankfully, my wife was, you know, on top of them, and they were doing a great job. And still to this day, they'll say they learned from that situation. They didn't realize how much I cared about the students that I worked with till that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they saw that effect on me. But
You know, one thing that I always like to say, and I think sometimes kids don't really understand, and what you're talking about as a classic example is that as your kids are growing up, if you have more than one, as they're growing up in the household, they don't get the same parents.
yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah, we talked about that one
Kids
time.
do
other time,
not
yeah.
get the
That's
same
true.
parents. And whether it's from stress and unavailable emotionally and mentally from the kids, or whether it's financial, you know what I mean? I could buy my one son a car when he got to high school. My other older son, I ain't had no money to get him a car when he got to high school.
Right,
you know,
right.
and so I barely had money for me to have a car in high school.
And then the young one didn't want a license.
Right, yeah, the young one didn't even want a
Get
license.
one and-
Right, exactly.
Sure.
So that's a classic example of how you don't get the same parents. And so during that period of time, you weren't available.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Wow.
And for you, like when you heard Gabriel say that, JG, did you go change something? Did you start talking? Because I know, like,
Yeah.
a good example. All right, I'm going to let you answer that. A lot of times, man, I think parents, when you always complaining about money in the household, always complaining, we ain't got no money, shut that door, you letting the air out, electric bill.
Oh, gosh.
You just constantly hear about money all the time.
Yeah.
I believe that is a core reason why a lot of kids go out and start doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Our young men.
Because all they're hearing about is money in the household. And that's what they've been fed. So they're like, you know what? I can't ask my mama for nothing. I can't ask daddy for nothing. You know what? I got to get this best way I can. Next thing you know, they into some stuff they should. You know what? It's some kids, they may have had financial troubles in the house, but they never had any clue. Because the parents didn't expose them to all of that.
Right. That's some great points.
So
You
is your
gotta be
point though,
good.
but is the way you're connecting that to our topic about spending time is that managing stress again.
Absolutely.
If you manage the stress of you not having, because you might be in a situation where you ain't got it as a parent.
Absolutely.
But your messaging about it is stinking the place up
Exactly.
and making everybody think that there's some desperation attached to it that they need to
Go
intervene
and
with.
hustle. and
Exactly.
whatnot.
Yeah.
I got to go out here and feed my family. And they 13.
Yeah.
You know, now they making some real bad decisions.
Yeah.
And then the parents can't figure out where they went wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you done created an atmosphere that done told this young man, we don't have nothing in here.
Yeah.
Peace and blessings to all of our businesses who are interested in advertising. We have great affordable rates. And if you'd like to advertise on our B2M Crew podcast, please reach out to us at b2mcrew5@gmail.com.
It's the B2M Crew chopping it up about the work and life balance when it comes to parenting. We're here live we're not live, but we're here at the Code Building in downtown Charlottesville producing another wonderful episode with Win Productions. J Moo,
Yes, sir.
how did this impact your life, bro? That balance, man, and how's it still, it's still a juggling act, right?
Oh, for
Fathers
sure.
are popular,
For sure.
important.
Yeah. As you know, as I do since we've done these episodes, is try to reflect back on my life coming up, then how it impacted how I then raised, our children, the boys, for me, or daughter as well. And then looking back for me, and touching on what you mentioned with regards to your wife as a help meet. My mom did have, pops, and he was out there, and I don't think he understood that work life, that work family balance. And, did my dad, and so not to have that example, but at least kind of coming up unbeknownst, as Waki kind of mentioned as well, I think was a benefit. But then for me, where I struggled with it as a young parent, taking on, as I think I mentioned in another episode, taking on an instant family and then having to kind of grind it out, and the frustrating and the difficulty at that time was where it was still not enough though. You know what I mean? And so I think what is key to it being a balance is at least having the family unit. You know what I mean? A mother, father, married and so forth. To help create and better define that balance and work it out. So when he had mentioned, or as you were talking about it, it was almost as if it was unspoken. You know what I mean? You had your wife as your helpmeet and then I think you kind of came back to it when you said she had the boys and made sure this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the key to it is basically understanding and having that foundation of the family unit to better make it balanced. But then, of course, she would need to speak on it, and if it becomes unbalanced, you know what I mean? As my wife does now.
Yeah, pointed
My
out
wife,
to you.
yes, she have to. Hey, baby, you spend a lot of time away from home. I know you're trying to do what it takes to make sure we have what we need, but we also need, and in some cases where they do put it on the children, they're talking about themselves where they need your time as well. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they'll say,
children haven't even seen
yeah,
you.
exactly.
Meanwhile, them motherfuckers running on trampolines outside.
They don't care nothing
Hey,
about it.
they got a
the
swimming pool.
But they will use
They in the pool
They will
for somebody
use
else's house.
they will use the children as basically in code to say that they miss you, I miss you, we miss. You know what I mean? So I think that's very important as well, that they let you know that it's becoming imbalanced. And
Did y'all see the reel that TD Jakes made about this?
which one?
Nah.
No.
I wish I could find it. I saw one. He said if a man is at home all the time, it's a problem. And if he gone all the time, it's a problem.
It's a problem. Wow.
He said that.
He quoted Bobby Womack.
So,
quoted.
but
He indirectly, right?
but that just goes
It's
to show
like,
it's
because
a
he
scale.
said,
That's a scale.
because if you at home too much, you not out there getting it.
You ain't producing.
You're not
like
out
you
there
need
being ambitious, being a producer. And if you
or away.
not, you
Gone
know, if
all
you're
the time.
away too much, then you neglect it. But when you think about on the world stage, right? When you think about the greatest leaders, those that accomplish much, those that become great, those that become powerful, they are the worst parents ever.
They
In
sacrifice
terms
their
of
families.
spending time with their children.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to
That's
describe it as worse, but I'm talking about
Right.
the least amount of time gets spent. But they had to do it. It was something in them saying, I gotta do it. So are we, when we say, I'm just committing straight up to be there all the time, are we stifling our own development into something great we may have supposed to become? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I think that's the balance that we talk about. You know, you can't do too much over here, do too much over there. It's just the balance. And the beautiful thing about James' wife, you know, she shared with him. A lot of women don't display that, or they'll do like low blows, or may not say nothing at all. Like, just come to me straight, baby. You know what I mean? It would be nice to have you around so we could do such and such instead of
what's
like
wrong with the attitude?
I ain't say attitude.
You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with them giving you the attitude and you don't even know what's wrong? What's wrong with that?
It's but
That most of the time that's what happens.
Yeah,
in
it is.
situation.
No, my
Right.
point is
No,
that's
no.
what all the relationship problems
Right.
is about.
So they get like let's I play these games. Just tell me,
yeah.
so I know. Like, y'all already say we ain't good at certain things. Just be straight with them.
yeah.
And so it just cut the chase. You know, a lot of times you play all these daggone games, man. And one thing I do a lot of times, I hadn't did it in a while, but kind of frequently I ask my wife, I say, yo, is there anything I could do to improve myself? You know what I mean? Now, that's opening myself wide open.
I was
please.
gonna
I-
say it
oh
is.
please.
You
I don't
know,
even have to tell mine.
they
That.
wanna
I
fix-
don't have to ask her that. She gonna
They
tell
wanna
me.
fix so much.
She tells
Where
me.
do I start?
Oh my gosh.
What she gonna tell you, brother?
She will tell. She tells me quickly, bro.
Man, it's-
You like, I ain't even asked
but,
for all that.
But and when you mentioned her, and I was like, she does it I think in the proper way. You know what I mean? And kind of knows and the timing as well as the approach. Like you said, sometimes it's good with attitude, because if you're not hearing it, if she's kind of saying it, you know, gently
So,
and
That's
gingerly.
what you respond to.
Yes, and then it's times that you because you're imbalanced and so much on outside in the work and what the boss is saying. Hey, the boss at home. The
Look,
wife-
James, I need you to get it together, my friend.
Like, hey, are you doing
Yeah.
something? Oh
Right.
my gosh! And that's one of the beauty of our marriage as well, is then, you know, when I kind of respond and she's like, you know, she'll think, oh, well, I sound like I'm getting on your nerves and da 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 da. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I get it. You know, I heard it the first time. I don't need to hear it 7 more times in this same instance. Okay. So, but I must say she does
But
it
do you
in
think
a
the
great
women
way.
are
though.
always right when they do that? Or that you should always,
We must
I
always.
want to choose the right word. Because I don't want to say acquiesce, accommodate. I want to choose the right word. But my point is this, though. Innately, as an alpha male, sometimes it's in you to be like, hey, I got to go get this right now. Like, you in your mind, I guess you know, because when it's that time, you really don't care about nobody's feelings. I mean, you do, but you like, I got to.
Because you got bills to
It's just
pay.
gonna be
You got
some
a
mad
household to
people
take
today.
care of.
Yeah.
If
But
something
see,
happened
I-
to your home, they're not gonna say, why she let the house go away, right?
Right.
If something happened to the home, they say, well, why Corey let the
And
house?
you're not going to be able to say to her, I was trying to spend more time.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, man.
You're not going to be able to say that, bro.
Hey, look, what y'all think about her? I heard, I forget the name, said, he told his lady, we gonna be all right as long as you know my career come first.
Skip Bayless said that.
Okay. So,
saw
As
when he
long as
said
you
that.
know my career
he,
comes first.
yeah, so but he was saying, the way I interpret it, he wasn't saying he's not gonna love her and take care of her, but that's gonna come first, because that is what take care of the bills and what creates this lifestyle.
Well,
What's y'all take on that?
I was kind of
Well, is marriage a business arrangement? Back to remember Armstrong Williams said that.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
said
he
marriage
did.
is a business arrangement. I mean, we know that there's
Yeah.
love involved, and
'Cause love ain't paying this
as
mortgage.
John Legend said, there's an infatuation phase, and then
I
but-
think what Skip was really saying was, you are my number one priority, but at the same time, when you see me devoting tremendous amounts of time to my work, I need you to understand. And I think she was okay with that. I think that's the key right there is communication.
I was just about to say.
And we got to compartmentalize what we're doing. And so if you grinding real hard, I always say in my household, there's a time to work and there's a time to play. When it's playtime, it's playtime. But when it's work time, it's work time. All right? And so if I'm spending time with the family, great. I need to be locked in. I can't be trying to play with the family over here, but I'm over here on the laptop.
then
Don't
you
do
throwing the
that.
ball here, you gotta go.
When you with family,
All right.
be with family. And then if you got to go away for a weekend, for a conference or whatever, hey, look, I'm going to be gone from Thursday. I'll be back Monday evening. You go do that. And each time you go from one thing to the next, from family to work to whatever, just be 100% all in and always communicate where you are in that process.
And
I'm working.
Right.
I'm with family, and always communicate that. I think that's a big help.
Talik, when you're dealing with this balance or have dealt with that balance, is it times, for example, and as much as we know you about it with the spending time and doing the no, I'm serious. No, you've always communicated that that's important.
Date
Right.
night.
It's a
and all
date
that,
night
you know.
and all y'all making everybody look
Driving
bad.
up the price of love.
G said.
He making the rest of
Driving
you
up
look bad on social media.
all the time.
Here we go again on the riverboat. Tuesday night.
Here's
in the
this
middle of a
car I
cold
just bought my
winter.
wife last year.
Everybody else
The big
at
boat
home-
want to check this out.
Everybody else at home arguing about what we're gonna eat.
Man. Exactly.
Oh, what's up? But nah. So is it times when you be like, you know what, man? For the next 5 weeks, I gotta hit it, and I'm gonna get back to that after this little grind right here.
Oh, all
You know
the
what I'm
time,
saying?
all the time.
That's
So
exactly what he does.
That's exactly what I do. So I'm on this whole, I'm on something different right now. And since January, matter of fact, I told my wife in December, I was like, I turned 50 this year. I was like, when I turned 55, I'm in the position I'm retired. I'm all in, I'm grinding, but this is what it's gonna look like. And what I'm doing is doing a shift, I'm transitioning from here to there. But right now I'm in study mode, So it look crazy, man, when they see me at home reading. They ain't never seen that before. I'm reading like 2 books now. I ain't never read no 2 books. I done read like 7 books this year, right? And so my son like, Dad, you all right? I'm like, man, I told y'all I'm serious, yo.
Man,
Like,
I'm in study mode.
I'm in study mode. And so what y'all used to me doing is going out here working 16 hours, 17 hours, come home. I come in the house, cook, wash clothes, whatever I need. Like my wife she might already have it done. But guess what? I know she get tired too. So if she get tired and I be like, I don't even bother Tyreek. Like everybody in the house work. You know what I mean? Everybody get it in. Everybody got their own agenda. So instead of saying, baby, you ain't cook today, I don't say nothing. I say, oh, you want me to grab something? Do I need to do something? Wash dishes? Whatever it take. It ain't time to be telling somebody this your position. That man, forget all that. We a team.
No, hell
here.
no.
Hey,
17
look,
hours?
Hey, look.
No, 17 hours?
Hey,
And
No, no.
right. You can't make a sandwich.
but at the same time, I'm high energy. You know what I mean? I'm
That's
high.
you, bro.
Until you're
Hey,
not.
That's you.
Didn't
Talking
y'all-
about
didn't
forget
Corey-
all that.
didn't
I'm
Corey-
all about roles now.
Hey, listen.
I think roles work. That's
What kind of rolls?
work.
Dinner rolls?
Have a roll.
Nah. He asked me what I do.
Yeah.
The question is not whether roles work. The question is, how do you handle it when one person is not able to fulfill the role?
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
the
really
way
the question.
the way
And so
the
that's
way
what
he
he's
kind of like
saying.
dismissed, he like forget
So
all of
what
that.
he's
It
saying
depends on what the
is,
reason was.
yeah, and what he's saying is, we're not gonna get caught up in this was your role, this was my role.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
even gonna get caught up in that.
All right.
We just gonna make sure whatever needs to be done gets done
All
by
right.
one of us in the house.
As long as we making that
Period.
clear,
That's the
though.
point.
I just
That-
want to
just-
make sure he ain't
just
So,
execute.
I think
dismissing
we
roles,
we
that's
all
all.
have roles, but I've said this before too. I've never come home and asked my wife, what's she cooking? I ain't never asked her that.
That's
Yeah.
Never one
Look
question.
at Corey, look at that.
I never. I will.
I'm not
and
asked that
Darren's
because I
sitting
think
here.
that- I
Darren
think
can
that-
tell you.
But I think that question is outdated. Period.
Why? It's
What-
just
what-
so
You don't
normal.
have to say that no more. You
Not
just
for
be like-
him.
You might
Not
say
for
well,
this dude.
nah.
Nah,
You might say
Who,
Not
JT?
for John.
the
Yeah,
question
nigga,
That ain't
yeah.
no outdated
might
question.
be- the question these days might be, what are we gonna eat? Right?
Hey,
But to say what are you cooking is a that's a whole nother conversation.
That's right.
If,
Yeah, that's
if
what
she
I'm
don't
saying.
work, that's an appropriate question. If both of y'all work, then it's however y'all handle the roles.
Okay, true.
Yeah, it's just however the roles work within your situation.
What if
I
she don't
think
work?
that's what-
So
But
if she
what I'm
don't work.
saying is,
I'm
what I'm
s-
saying is, to your point, right? It's about okay, the cooking hadn't gotten done. It's just a matter of who's gonna get it done because we just
Right.
need
Look,
a solution.
you got it.
And so
My
John-
point is, over time, if you the motherfucker that's all excuse, we gonna have to
Yeah.
edit that.
No, we
Y'all
not.
have to beat me.
Let's go.
If you're the one that's always the one that got to figure out the solution at the end, there's an imbalance going on, right?
Right.
That either you done settled into that role where I go work 17 hours and I'm the cook and the do dishes, or there's some type of negotiation that's going to have to happen about.
I
So
mean,
John's
expect-
saying
At least high
if
energy,
she
so
don't
he
work,
can do that.
she's supposed to cook.
Yeah,
That's a
absolutely,
fact. That's a
absolutely.
fact.
all right, what's
Yeah.
that?
I already
Yeah.
said if she's not working and you come home and you still got to cook, that's a
No, I got
problem.
one better
Look in
than
that camera and tell us.
If you beat
that camera right there and
I
tell
got
us.
one on that. If you beat me home
Yeah, yeah,
and you ain't got nothing else going on, you need to be handling that.
right.
Or vice versa for me. If I
Yeah.
beat you home, you shouldn't
Right,
be
right,
like,
right. Okay.
you got to come home and then I got to
we-
There we go.
do that.
We-
How
we-
about
We've
ask
done
you
that in the
balances.
early times with raising, like whoever get home first, they start. But man, at the end of the day, man, do you want to sit here and argue, right?
Yes.
And at the same time, you still hungry,
All right, well, look, let me
right?
say this.
Or do you just get the
'cause I can
job
stop
done?
and get some wings on the way at the bar. Not
The,
looking.
the thing is,
Now look,
when-
check this out though. No, this is what I want to say. Now, this is a good point I think I'm making. How you gonna be present if you got to come home and cook after been working all day? The present that they want you to be.
Guess
I got
what?
other stuff to do when I get home now.
None
Now,
of
how
us.
am I gonna be? We can't play Monopoly because you got to cook.
What would she say, John?
hey, nah, you the high energy guy.
deflect.
Yeah,
Put
you
it
don't
on
get
there.
tired. So I'm saying that I guess the question is when you do get tired and when things aren't done, what's the situation? Then?
Go get something to eat. Just go to
Right,
go grab something at
Order
the
in,
restaurant.
order
Like,
in, right.
like he said, whether it was done or not, the decision made to eat out or eat in, or however you do it, right?
One thing that we used in our household is that we had a menu. All right, menu for 7 days a week. All right, that was the default. So 7 days a week, Sunday through Saturday. This is the
He had
default,
Captain
right?
Crunch for Tuesday
yo,
and
all right,
Thursday.
No, this makes sense. So here's the thing. You know how
Spaghetti.
many people spend all kinds of time talking about what you want, what you want, what
Oh
you
my
want.
Yes.
gosh,
Bro,
yes.
that's so annoying. We got a menu. So guess what? At 6 o'clock, if we have not said, oh, you know what? I want this today. If we have not said that, the
This what
menu
we
is the
having
default.
on Wednesday. Oh,
The
okay.
menu is the default.
Understand why you
That's
always
it.
come up with something
That's it.
brilliant.
That's
You know
what we
why?
doing.
But everything is out of convenience because anything else but that is too complicated for Joaquin.
Chuck, what is gonna be
and
fun?
not only complicated, just an inconvenience.
Yeah, right.
You know what? If I'm gonna be the one that cook, this is how it's gonna systematically go to fit into how me doing it.
Right.
It's gonna be a dedicated menu and all
Right.
that.
And so that's what we did. So when we at home and talk about being engaged, how many times now, especially now, people at the dinner table and on their phone and stuff like that. So when my boys were young, we was at the dinner table. We had a little stack of Black History cards. So when we were having dinner, we could pull a card
Yeah.
And then we could read whatever was on the card and talk about whoever the card was about, that type of stuff.
Right.
That's engaging. That's dinner time. That's us being together. Stuff like that are things that I know they still remember even now that they're adults.
You remember that?
So,
No.
yeah.
That's
All right,
good.
so look,
Nah.
all right, let's get back. So
Sure.
let's bring ourselves. Let's get back.
All right.
So we're talking about managing the work and parenting balance in terms of our lives with being a husband, father, and all of that. It defaulted into a conversation about roles and responsibility. That wasn't our main subject, but it does point out our impact in the home, in the ways we impact the home beyond our jobs, beyond. We have other roles at home.
Let me ask you this. When and how do we teach that to our young men as far as that balance? Because when you're in school, you have your schoolwork, you got your playtime, right? So what would you do to instill that in your
They
children?
don't want to hear nothing you got to say. They watching everything you do. You can say them words. They watching you.
Yeah.
That's how you teach.
That's 1,000.
That's how you teach.
So-
But it's
I don't hear
but
nothing
it's-
about what
but
you
it-
say.
but
I
it is
agree with
still
that.
good
I
to make
just-
sure the words are said in with because it also plants the seed
But look, yeah.
for
Right.
them to.
So what I'm saying is,
but it's more important
when
to,
you do say something,
Mhm.
your words better match your actions.
right,
Don't be saying stuff and your actions don't match it.
right.
The worst thing your kid can see you as is a hypocrite. Don't
So
let
if
them
your
see you as a
son, if your
hypocrite.
son's stressed out about his schoolwork,
That's important.
If he's stressed out about his schoolwork,
Okay.
right?
how do you handle that? Take a break, step away. How would you handle that? Because the way you handle your schoolwork could be how you handle your career or your business.
Right.
So I'm saying I think we should be able to teach them at a younger age how to balance that out, how to work hard, right?
So
you
well,
might cut
think-
grass on the weekend, but then we're gonna have fun after that, whatever it may be.
I think you talk to them and you say, well, what are you so stressed out about?
Because
Do you
daddy expect A's on this report
No,
card.
no. That was never my message. Y'all done heard me say it before. The A students teach the B students to work for the C
You're the
students.
exception to that
So,
rule.
so what I'm saying is, that's how I made sure I didn't put that pressure on them. They ain't had that pressure. Whatever
But
pressure
they
they,
got the A's.
huh?
But
All right.
but we
The
still,
pressure
but we
was
still need
about-
to answer the question.
But
though.
I'm
pressure
saying,
was
but
about
the same-
attitude and
How
effort.
do
It's
you
the same
instill
thing
that?
about effort. That's what I'm saying.
It's
You
about
put in the
attitude and
effort,
effort.
you're gonna get the A.
So I'm
For the most part,
So,
if
I
your
t-
kid
You know what I'm saying?
straight.
so to answer John's question is, Daddy want me to get A's, right? Yeah, I
Is that
want
what you want?
I want you to get A. No, I'm just saying that's what his question was. All right, yeah, I
No,
want
it
you.
was-
Do
his
you
question
put
was, how do you-
expectations on your child? Whether it's an all A, whatever it is, you know you set expectations on
The
them.
expectation is never about the grade. The
Okay,
expectation
however
is
your
about
expectation-
effort.
Putting your best effort forward.
It's so that you saying however you define expectation, if they don't meet that, it's not gonna be some pressure on them.
Oh, it's a lot of pressure if you
Okay.
ain't giving your effort and you ain't got a good attitude. It's a whole lot of pressure.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you know how you're not teaching them work, family balance, responsibility, family balance. That don't start when we 30 or when we 50.
Right.
Can't we start that at a younger age?
Yes.
I
absolutely.
think- start
I
everything.
think
And his
Yeah.
question
I
is
think
how.
the modeling does it, but I think for me too, the other thing is again, I'm back to that thing about like telling the truth. Like we tell children so much grown stuff that they don't need to know.
keep it
we
age
never
appropriate.
tell them the
Oh,
grown
okay,
stuff they need to know.
he don't like that.
Correct.
I think
We never
yeah.
say
Right.
that. We never say, you know what? I know you want to
And I
spend
agree with
time, and I've been like in a situation with Darius. You see me with that phone, man. Right now, I've been struggling a little bit. I'm trying to get somewhere with this business thing, so it's gonna require some of that right now. It's gonna be times like that when you get older. You're gonna deal with this, and man, it ain't no clear way to know, but you just gotta go with your gut. And, you know, I'm gonna make it up to you, but that's like when you can help them think through what's going on emotionally.
That's true.
Then they can place what's going on in the proper place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And be like, you know what,
Right.
nah, dad, he ain't there. And the older sibling can tell the brother, stop whining, man. He'll be back. He got to go do such and such and so on. That's what's going on right now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
Talking
think it's
in-
stages to this. It's
Yeah.
stages to it, right? And so in the perfect world, and what's the old saying? Life is what happens to you while we making other plans, right? In the perfect world, we on our grind so hard in our early 20s, in our mid 20s, right? And as
Yeah.
we get older, then we can have a family. And then by the time we 50, not easy streak, but we on a smooth road.
Well, they should be grown and gone.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's in the ideal world, you know what I mean? And so we want to give our kids those skills. So you're not just gonna turn 30 and 40 and get it. We want them to grind and put those hours in while you're a single man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or while you're a young family without kids. So by the time the kids do come along, you have a better balance and you're not forced to go out there and do them 70, 80 hours a week.
But that's the point of the messaging, and there's a time to play and there's a time to work.
Exactly. And schedule that playtime, mind, body, and spirit, right? Because we all coached our kids, right? And so I love that. So when they got older was the work issue, right? So mind, body, spirit, whether you're taking a walk, shooting ball, throwing the ball, that all having dinner together. And I'm gonna say this too, as far as the kids in this, again, Western society, we get caught up in productivity. So if we could teach our kids to pursue their
Passion,
purpose.
their purpose, okay.
Yeah, if you know your purpose, and then the hours we talked about energy earlier, you won't be fatigued and drained, because when you know your purpose and you're pursuing your purpose, you're gonna stay energized and you know you're on the right track. So when you come home, you're not drained, even if you did put in that 60 hours plus for the week, because you know your purpose.
I think
helping our kids find their purpose at a young age is probably half that battle.
Yeah, no, I think you touched on something right there. When you were talking about scheduling and planning, I think that's a big piece of it. With scheduling and planning, we can prevent a whole lot of waste and nonsense. You know, if the kids understand the schedule, especially once they start playing multiple sports or multiple activities, violin, whatever it is, you know, scheduling and planning really can eliminate a lot of this, because everybody will know, the whole family can know what we own, what's going on, what's happening, what's next, what's going on, you know. And I think that's a big piece of how we can help mitigate the problems that come with life as we live in every day, is through scheduling and planning. I think that's super important.
That's
Man, one of the
organization. That's
things we
basically
do, brother,
organization.
is we you know, we talk a whole lot in the black community about blessings. Like, we want blessings, we praying for blessings, we seeking abundance. We talk all this, right?
Yeah.
The bottom line is this, man. You know, Elijah Muhammad said business. I mean, like, a couple things he said. Business is the activity of life.
That's true.
Business is the activity of life.
Right.
Right? 2, you not going to no heaven, ain't no place where you ain't gotta work. Like, we got these misnomers about,
Right.
you know, man, shoot, like, we gonna go whatever heaven is, you just gonna be chilling.
But we not gonna be.
Hey, man, come on, man. What? Hey, that's
No cookies, Walt.
it sounds
Nah.
let me tell you what. It sounds like the perfect story. Hey, yo, it sounds like
That's
the
not what you
perfect
was told.
story that somebody working you for free to tell you. You know what I mean? One day you're not gonna have to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But the bottom line is this, though.
You're not gonna
So
have to
yeah,
do
this
nothing.
time spent away from home, this come with it,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so
Right.
so this just come with it.
Yeah.
This is just what it is. So the thing is, I like what Talik said is I really like the maximizing the time you do have and being present when you're there, because you really, business can sometimes dictate how much you got to be gone. If you just happen to sign a contract that keep you away for 22 days, you gone for 22 days. Ain't nothing you can do about that, right? If that's what industry you in. But when you home, you can get a love. You can cook. You can get a love through the cooking, through the supporting your spouse, through the throwing the ball, you know, with your child. I saw this, man. I was at Old Town Alexandria last week, just hanging out. This old grandfather, about 75, 77 years old. Grandson about 9. He wanted him to throw him the football. I watched this grandfather throw about 100 passes to this little boy. He had a nice little spiral. It was so much at the end I had to say to him. I was like, man, you ain't even going to be able to pick that arm up tomorrow. He was like, you right, I threw a lot of balls today. But I was just smiling because everything was about that boy. He did not want to throw 100 passes out there. I could see it in him. I mean, I'm just saying, right? But he just kept on. The little boy throwing him back. The little boy can't throw. The man gotta go get it. It's over his head.
That
it's
was
on
his
the
daddy's
ground.
fault. Right,
He
right.
gotta get him down.
You
But
talking
my
about
point
me?
is, he was like, I'm gonna spend this hour out here in 95-degree sun, cause this 9-year-old thinks it's great to be out here throwing this ball with me, and he did it. That man might not see that boy for 2 more months like that.
Right.
But that investment, that memory they created,
Yeah.
Moment.
Priceless.
that helped the little boy
Priceless.
get through the times when they ain't together.
Absolutely.
You know, so let's create memories with the time we do have available.
I like it.
You know what I'm saying?
I think to also I know in closing, and I know that's usually what you
Go
say.
ahead, wrap it up. Go ahead,
Nah,
Nah, you
but
right. It's about that time.
I think the first step is not to try to buck the system. It's just that when you just do it once a week for now. You know, figure out that engagement time, 1 day a week, and then once you develop that muscle, it'll start coming more naturally.
Yeah.
So that's what I hope you take away from this.
I
Real,
think-
episode.
real quick,
Oh, go ahead.
because before it'll be done. I'm like, damn it, I didn't say whatever. What I wanted to express and share with at least the youngest of mine, K Moo, I was like, if I had it to do all over again, I would of course get my education, get my schooling. If college or whatever is what you want to do and end up doing, going to college, going to school, great. Then after that, establishing and having your career in your early 20s, early to mid 20s, preparing yourself on the responsibility of having a wife and so on and so forth. Mid 20s or so, court, you know what I'm saying, and do whatever to find her. Between that mid to late 20s age, if you're going to marry, go ahead and marry. And again, during that time of 25 to 30, and if you're married at 27 or so, whatever the case, enjoy your wife in the time that y'all have as married before you go and start a family. And by the time you're 30, begin and start your family, because again, I've found in my experience, 30 was the best parenting I had ever done, and that was when he came about. But I kind of at least had a great idea as to what that was about, and then establishing that foundation, and again, and knowing and understanding and having a balance, and making sure that's discussed and talked about, with your life partner and all of that.
That's fine and dandy, but ain't none of them got a girlfriend.
What I was gonna say is,
However,
that plan sounds great until that one sister that happens to cross his path with a certain scent
Them
and
pheromones start kicking in.
energy meets him, and
Good
then that
God.
plan goes out the window. I'm getting married next week.
Completely
Yeah.
derails
Yeah.
everything.
That's what happened to him. at
however,
20,
that's
20
the
months.
point.
At least
Yeah.
I'm putting out a plan. At least that you could maybe think and to consider
Yeah.
and not get off track.
And
But
how
see,
to
but
pick the
nobody
right
gave
one
that
that's
to
going
me.
to ride
You know what
with
I
you.
mean? I didn't have that to be given in that way or in that sense. So ideally, I think
So that way he
that'd
can
be great.
maximize the time he gives. Huh?
You
Right,
can have a
as well
template
as
even if you don't go by that
Thank you,
template exactly.
There you go.
You got something
I
there.
think the point we want to leave everyone with
Okay.
is that this has to be a priority. You have to make it a priority. So that contract you talked about that you signed that's going to take you away for 22 days, and let's just say that contract was $50,000, all right? Well, guess what? Maybe you also had an opportunity to take a contract that would only taking you away for 5 days that was $10,000. Are you always going to choose the 22-day $50,000, or are you going to make the sacrifice and say, you know what? Let me take the 7-day contract for 10.
Yeah.
And so if you're constantly always choosing, making a choice to be gone, folk gonna have a problem with that at home.
You always
Right.
choosing option.
But if you because you always gonna say when it's family or business, they know daddy gonna choose business.
and it's
That
important
can't be the issue.
when you come off of that and using your analogy that, hey, yo, dad was on this, I was gone. This is why we get to take this vacation. This is why we get to drive this car.
I get
This
back
is why,
next week. Then me and my boys going on a trip.
yeah.
Then I be back after that because
Right.
I got to go to the motorcycle thing. After
A
that.
good balance.
Right.
A good balance.
Hey,
Hey, man.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this. Hey, we don't live to work. We work so we can live, right? And so we still have to teach our children a work ethic. whether you're working for yourself or somebody else. So we don't live to work. We work so that we can live and have. That's about having that balance.
Come
If y'all know that song, man, I think it's a folk song, rock song, but it's the
Jack
it's
in the cradle,
Cat in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon.
Oh yeah,
Is
love
that the
it.
one for real? Is that
Love
the
it.
one? Is that the one? What
Yeah,
he just
the
said?
Cat in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the
Yeah,
moon.
yeah.
When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll have a good time then.
Right.
But the thesis behind the song is,
Yeah.
at one point in the beginning of the song, the little boy wants to spend time with his father, but the father's too busy. We'll do it soon. Then when the father gets older, he wants to spend time with the son, but the son is too busy.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is about maximizing these moments because they're not going to last forever.
Wow.
And let's
this
not make
B2M
that
Crew
mistake.
reminding you all on this work-life balance with our families, man. It doesn't last forever, so we got to create moments, remember moments, get our grind on to do what we got to do, but always keep the family first because we can't take none of the stuff we acquire with us, can't take the money with us, and time does not go on forever.
Create them good family, positive family habits, like you were saying. Have Sunday dinner if you don't do it 7 days a week.
Joaquin, you got something to take us out with?
Yeah. In the words of the great Frederick Douglass, it is easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. Peace.
And I won't stop until I'm winning. I'ma show them how true and independent get it. Whole game changed by the time I'm finished with it. We about to get this business handled in a minute. And I won't stop until I'm winning. They don't want me in the office cause I tell